So I don't know if he's named his cock Little Princess, or maybe he stole his pregnant wife's shirt to come.
Well, do you think it's possible to get syphilis from a pre-chewed piece of gum? Yeah.
Syphilis
Yes, syphilis.
from a pre-chewed piece of gum. I'm gonna go.
But
That's
if
656 million light years away.
okay, so 656 million years ago, someone was like, "Hey, this planet is gonna wake up in about 650 million years, so we should start aiming this thing now, and by the time it reaches them."
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show. And listener discretion is advised.
Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Saturday, June 24th, 8:51 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your week in review to get you ready for Monday. How's it going, Fitz?
I am exhausted. In such a good way. I feel like I feel like my inner child was just like getting a little too exploratory this week and like found some gum underneath a chair and then chewed it and then got syphilis or something. You know, it's kind of one of those, yeah, it was kind of one of those weeks where you just like subconsciously you're running these programs that you just don't really realize are running. And then it's like, oh, I feel like shit this week or today, because all this stuff I've been thinking really heavy about all these things, and I'm not even talking the news. The news was fucking wild this week. I cannot wait to get to it. I'm just talking about personally. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where the inner child thing came from. That's all to say that I'm glad to be here. And how are you, dude?
Well, right now I'm trying to figure out the syphilis in a piece of gum and how it actually gets there. I kind of got stuck on that. So I'm doing okay. Mental health month. I can't talk. Fuck. And all.
Yeah.
Happy mental
men's
health
mental
month.
health. No
Hey,
doubt.
Is it? Should I be offended that our
Yes.
mental health month
Yes.
has been overtaken by Pride Month?
Yes. I'm offended. I am. And I'm we've been touching on it kind of in the last couple of shows here. And so I don't want to get on this. And this is not bashing anyone else.
No.
What it is doing though is I sent a video actually to you and Hefe earlier in the week, just sort of about like we need to take care of each other.
We do.
We take all the shit from all the other groups because we are white men, and I'm not saying we don't deserve some of it. But me personally, I actually don't feel like I deserve any of it, other than the fact that people who look like me do some shitty things. So I get it. But that's not me. I'm not that person. And yet we still take all the flack for all of the naughty things going out there done by white men. And I'm not condoning it. And again, I'm not knocking anyone else. Everybody needs their due time, but it's kind of crappy to come over the top of Men's Mental Health Month, Pride Month. That's kind of not cool.
Now it really is.
It feels targeted.
It does a little bit.
Yeah.
It does. And we're not going to sit here and cry about it. It's just something
No.
that I don't know, just didn't didn't pop up earlier in the month. In fact, I think a lot of people even forgot that it was a mental health month. And let's just, guys, take time for you.
Yeah.
Find somebody to talk to. Try to talk to anybody. I know I had a little meltdown yesterday and drank a little too much, and it led to a lot of fireworks here. Everybody's fine. We went from DEFCON 4 to DEFCON 2, and we're back to DEFCON 4 again. The submarines have returned to port. But just, it's more work. But if you got somebody to talk to, and if you don't have anybody to talk to, reach out to us. Why not?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
Jesus.
Absolutely. I one of my kung fu students, he's as you know, he's an ex-vet, ex-marine, and you know, he's spent a lot of time in the Marines and has some really close people. And he is one of those guys who is like, if you're having a down day, if you're having a down night, call me. Even if we haven't talked in 20 years, call me. Because he's lost so many buddies, so many friends to suicide. And you know, that is a very telling stat that we are the highest suicide rate is white males. And I you know, so we're feeling something here, and we're not getting what we need. And I will fully admit, because I'm guilty of it, sometimes we just don't ask and we don't talk about what we need. But fellas, if you're out there and you're struggling, please reach out to somebody. And like McShane said, if you don't have anyone, reach out to us. We've got a hotline, we've got Twitter. We want to be there for each other, because we need each other. We're all brothers.
Yep, totally. What you drinking?
What am I drinking? You know, I am drinking nothing yet, but I'm about to drink. I actually bought a full wow, I almost said pallet. That would be a lot of beer. I bought a full flat of this. So I got 24 of these things waiting for me, and I'm having the first one right now. So I really hope I like them. But something about this just really intrigued me. So this is from Mackenzie Brewing, and this is called a Hoppy Jalapeno Pale Ale. It's only a 5.8%. I'm kind of doing the opposite of what I did last week. I'm gonna start lighter and heavier, because that barley wine last week really was kicking my ass. About halfway through the show, I'm like, keep it together, Fitz, keep it together. So anyway, this is the Hoppy Jalapeno. It is a well, it's just what it sounds like. It's a jalapeno infused IPA. So let's see what we got here. Oh shit. Wow. That is really refreshing. I am very pleasantly surprised. I really wasn't sure when I picked it up, but I thought, you know, for as little as I'm paying for this entire flat of beer, I mean, at the worst, it would just be, you know, fodder for just kind of getting your buzz on. But this is really good. So little hoppy, not bad, not a real hoppy IPA, and it doesn't have a skunk smell to it at all. It smells more like just a pale. But the jalapeno in there, you know what this is? This is like a salsa verde in a glass.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, with a little pop on the end. I mean, the jalapeno is there, and it kind of gets you up in your innards there, up in the sinuses. Which is good. Maybe it'll clear up my allergies, but no, really solid beer. Well done. Nice head on it. Pours, you know, liquid gold. Just a really nice, clean. You know what? This is the beer you want after you just were outside mowing the lawn for 2 hours, and you're hot, you're sweaty, your body's needing something. This is the one you grab. Really well done. I really like Mackenzie Brewing. They make a lot of solid beers. They're just heavy on the IPA, so I don't generally get them all that often. But this one, they fucking killed it. Really, really well done. So, yeah. So nice start.
What is this considered? What kind of beer is that considered? I mean, is it considered an IPA, or is it a lager, or?
No, they call it a pale ale, Hoppy Jalapeno Pale Ale. Okay. It's only got 35 IBUs, so maybe I kind of misclassified it. It's not really an IPA then, because I mean, that's pretty low IBUs for an IPA. This Golden Pale Ale is light, clean, and crisp. Yes, for sure. Giving off hints of herbal notes, fresh and roasted jalapenos for sure. Stone, passion, and tropical fruit and citrus. It's a complex blend of subtle heat and juicy fruits with a smooth finish. This is perfect for those warmer spring days and cooler spring nights. Cheers. Yeah, that's exactly how I would have summed it up. Really, really nice beer.
Very cool. That's a different one, especially when you can throw in a little bit of jalapeno. And it has the tendency to be, it can be very overpowering. So it sounds like you got some nice balance there.
Very balanced. Yeah, no, it's super subtle, but it's there. I mean, like I said, it kind of gets up in the uppers of your nose there, and just kind of sits. It just, man, it's really nice. So what do you got going? What's your first beer?
So I have one called Origins. It's by Imprint Brewing. Never had them before. It is a cold brew coffee stout, double vanilla bean. It's made with Ugandan single origin coffee beans. This is a small batch, and let's see what we got. Smells like extract, vanilla extract.
Okay. That can sometimes be a bad thing, but it sometimes can be good.
Doesn't taste it. It's definitely vanilla. It's a lot of vanilla. Definitely a stout. Pours very, very black. Motor oil black. Probably darker than I wanted tonight, but that's gonna have to be that's gonna have to work. It is I think it's an 8.5. I want to say. I don't see the ABV right now. Not super boozy. Good mouthfeel. Lots of malts, rich. A little bit of chocolate flavor too. It's good. It's good. It's definitely a winter stout. So I'm probably having it totally at the wrong time of year. But I saw it and like, this looks too interesting to not try it. So went with it. But
you asked me about the balance on my beer. How is that balanced? I mean, are you getting too much of anything or?
No, in fact, the vanilla tapers off quite nicely. So you get that long stout taste in there, but there's not a lot. The vanilla hits up front and then it kind of tapers off. It's very much a stout.
Nice. We do have a Hefe sighting. Hefe, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I saw a shirt today that I want.
Oh, okay. Please elaborate.
Because it confused me, and the more I think about it, the more I want it. Okay, there's a guy, and it had on the front of his shirt on his chest, it said "Little Princess," and then an arrow came down. So I don't know if he's named his cock Little Princess, or maybe he stole his pregnant wife's shirt to come to the casino, or what. But I want it.
Or he wants a little princess on his. And of course 18 and over, but
sure, little as in size,
just tiny. Right, exactly. Petite
spinner.
I mean, that's totally a shirt I would rock. You guys know I like my kind of ridiculous, crazy shirts.
Yeah.
At times, I would rock that all day.
Make people wonder.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I last week I meant to bring this up, but I was too busy carrying you guys through the show.
We thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks.
So first thing, I wanted to give a shout out to Buttercup for the beer. So I mentioned that she got it from Avondale, but I didn't properly shout out to her for getting me those beers, and also McShane bringing me beers. That seems like 6 months ago, doesn't it? But anyway, thank you guys, both of you, for the beers and that shipment of beers. I got a call from FedEx, and they asked about the place, my post office place closing, my postal little mailbox thing, and I said yeah, and I confirmed my new address, and they said okay, we'll get it there tomorrow, and that was like a week ago, and there's nothing there. So I don't know what. I'm going to go to a FedEx office, I guess, and see if they can track it down. But I just thought of that this week, that those beers never showed up. Unless they just dropped them off the front door, or someone snagged them.
Yeah.
It
Wouldn't know what was inside of them.
True.
Speaking of a beer shipment, I'm having a beer tonight, Hefe, that I actually think you could really sink your teeth into, that you would get into. It's you'll hear my intro when you listen to the show, but it's a jalapeno infused pale ale. And the jalapeno's not hot. It's heavy in there. It's just there. But it's really crisp and refreshing. And I just kind of based on the beers that you tend to gravitate towards, I think you might like this one. So I might send you a couple once you get the whole, where to send stuff sorted out.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
So real quick, McShane, I know you have a story loaded here for us to talk about, but
we can go wherever.
Well, do you think it's possible to get syphilis from a pre-chewed piece of gum? Yeah.
Syphilis?
Yeah. Yes, syphilis.
From a pre-chewed piece of gum. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well, you have to have contact, right? So somebody had to have had the gum in their mouth, been doing something with the person who had it, contracted it through that, and then decided, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and stick the gum up underneath the chair. And yes, I've tried to figure this out.
Even at that, you would think I don't think syphilis does well outside the body.
I would hope not. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, you'll have context for all of this, Hefe, when you listen to the beginning of the show. One of those weird fucking things just came out of my mouth, and now it's a thing.
All right.
You know what? I think we should ask Bill Nye. I'm gonna write him on Twitter right now.
Oh God, that's a great call. Let's
right.
tweet that. Let's tweet that twat.
Yeah. Oh, that one douchebag. What's his name? Tyson. Yes.
Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have a new target, which we're going to talk about later on the show, but I have a new guy that I've been trolling, Dr. Hotz. Man, is he fun to troll. Oh, he gets like, you can tell in his tweets he's physically mad.
He's deranged. Well, let's go ahead and get into that. Let's just go ahead and dive into that, because that was a very, very telling exchange.
Yeah,
we'll just say it. So the whole idea is that Joe Rogan has been trying to get JFK Jr. Into a debate with this Peter Hotz person, who's the monkey boy for the CDC.
Yeah, and he was one of the developers for the COVID vaccine, and he also was paid some great amount of money from Pfizer. And so yeah, he did all the rounds in the middle of COVID. He's a pediatrician, so he was the one out there saying your kids as young as 2 months old need to get, needles stuck in them, and so he did, the Good Morning Americas, the CNNs, all that. So that's who Peter Hotz is.
Well, so he makes $250,000 a year. His PR firm that's handling his Twitter and making sure he gets onto Newsweek and onto MSNBC and everywhere but this debate, he's paying him like $20,000 a week.
Jesus.
So somebody's got deep pockets for this guy.
Yeah. Here's the shit of it. I mean, and we're not gonna, I promise you guys, we're not gonna keep on this every week, but Tucker Carlson and his little Twitter show did a great piece on this, basically saying, Bobby Kennedy is he's winning here because, Bobby Kennedy's been against vaccines since the early. I mean, he's always asked, how come 5 of my 7 kids have allergies? Maybe there's a connection to autism, and whether or not he's correct or that there's any validity to what he's saying, he's allowed to ask these questions. And if somebody has some definitive proof, some science that they can shove his way, that'd be great, because I think he'd shut the fuck up. I think he'd be like, wow, okay, this is great evidence. And I don't mean Pfizer coming in and saying, hey, our drugs are good for you. I mean actual peer-reviewed, independent, nobody got paid from any pharmaceutical company, literally just placebo, double-blind, all of it. If someone could come in and dash his claims, I think he would shut up about it. But no one has. So
that guy coming in would probably have a car accident on the way to coming in.
Probably. That's a very good point. Or, he'd be given a free ticket to Subride, which we're going to get to also later. So Bobby, all he's doing is asking questions. He's a public figure. He's going to be a presidential candidate. He is a candidate. And so Rogan was like, hey, I'll put up $100,000 if Dr. Holtz will come on and debate Bobby on my show. And he wouldn't do it. Then other people jumped on board. And I think the pot got up to like $1.5 million was going to be donated to charity. And Holtz wouldn't bite.
I think it's up like around 2.5 now, because the list of donors has been insane.
It's amazing. And why wouldn't, if you're correct, if you have quote unquote science backing you up, why wouldn't you just show up and hand Bobby his ass and also get $2.5 million sent to some amazing charity? Why would you not do that?
Yep.
And it's just a debate. Nobody's saying that you're correct. Nobody's saying you're wrong. Debate it, and the charity gets the money, unless you're only going to go on places that are going to give you softball questions. And that's what's going on.
Yep.
Which, doesn't that make you seem like you're guilty?
Well, anytime, and I mean, this is just a theme right now in the world. Anytime either someone does the ad hominem, attack, like they just attack you as a person, or they won't show up and debate you, or they just censor you and completely shut you down, you already know the answer. You already know that you're onto something that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want out in the open.
That is correct.
And it's by not saying anything, guys, you're saying a lot. And so thank you for our answer. Thank you very much. Let's all move on.
Science,
crazy.
When you stop allowing questions to be asked, science is no longer science.
Right.
You're just spewing whatever propaganda that you need to get out there. That's all it is. It's all directionally pumped. It's there's no more free thought. And that's honestly going to be a little bit of the theme for tonight's show. A lot of bread and circus tonight. But yeah, so this has been going on for the last week and a half now, and he's not gonna bite on it. Instead, he just sits there and in his dorky little glasses, wearing his cute little white, doctor's jacket, which nobody fucking wears those anymore. And he's just lapping it up because he can hide behind every news agency that is on the cut.
Cashing his checks.
Yep. And you know what? Good for him. If he's getting paid on all this, great. But let's also then realize that he's getting paid. I mean, that's fine. You got your payday. Great. I would love that payday. And probably if someone, well, no, actually I wouldn't. I would say what I want to say. Even if they were paying me that money, fuck the money. If it's not the truth, because at the end of the day, if these vaccines are causing harm, we already know these people have impunity. They're not going to get sent to jail for it. They're not going to get fined for it. They signed all of that shit. before they ever put the vaccines out there. But if they are causing harm, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Even if I was safe and even if I was rich, I give people bad advice as a medical doctor.
Well, he should lose his license.
He should. You're right. He should. But even if there were no consequences like that, my inner scruples, my morals, I just wouldn't be able to handle it. I would probably be one of those white males that committed suicide. Just crazy.
Hi, Hefe. How you doing?
Doing good, real good.
Hey, how's the are you starting out slow? How's the casino tonight?
It's kind of slow, but I'm doing okay so far. Nothing, crazy. But this girl bought in for 400, all in hundreds, and then she threw a 20 out. So this is for you. Okay, I'll take $20.
Yeah, that's excellent, dude. That story you told about last night was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great story. Just to sum it up, shitty night, $5 all night, and then this one guy sits down and in 5 minutes you made how much off him? Like $85 off of him?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the night you everywhere you went, you were getting good tips, and it was a good night.
It started rolling after that.
Yeah.
It was looking real bad for a minute there. 3 hours in,
Yeah.
$5 on a Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's tough. That's double tough. But you never know when that secret admirer is going to slip something in your behind, You just never know.
So true. So true. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back to work.
All right.
Well,
Back
so
and
are
forth,
we.
though.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got so much to cover, Hefe. We might get you in 3 times tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Hope stay hydrated.
All right, guys. See you in a little bit.
All right, man.
All right.
Later.
All right. So this week started off, and we're just gonna bob and weave here on the various subjects.
Yeah, we've got so much to get to, and believe me, we would love to go really deep on just about everything we're going to talk about tonight. We just don't have time, and I feel like it's better that we cover some stuff that maybe not everybody's heard of, and maybe we don't go as deep as we'd like, but at least we get to it so you can look at it on your own, rather than us do a super deep dive on one thing and then you don't hear about all this other nefarious shit that's going on. So that's kind of our philosophy tonight.
So the week starts off with Hunter pleading guilty to some just felony counts that were he got a deal, a massive deal.
Yeah. Struck a plea deal.
He's got a felony gun charge, and he's got like a couple tax misdemeanors. So that happened on, I think it was like Monday, wasn't it? Sunday or Monday?
Yeah, Monday, I believe.
So
yeah, and
that
the felony gun charge was the least of all of it, because he had like, I think it was 28 weapons charges, and it was the least of all of those is the one that they charged him with. So just let that sink in.
So, well, it kind of pales in comparison to the 37 count federal criminal indictment that was filed against Trump, right?
For paper.
Right. For paper. Yeah. So that's nice. So the political witch hunt, they threw Hunter under the bus and said, look, just listen here, buddy. Go ahead and take the hit. You won't do any time. Maybe you'll wear an ankle bracelet. You'll still have hookers and blow. It's fine.
Yep.
Just go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Now, that happened, and everybody starts getting a chub. Right after this happens, we start hearing about this WhatsApp message that took place when Daddy Joe was sitting next to him.
Yeah, right.
So he's having this conversation with some kind of banker in China.
Yeah.
Expecting his money and threatening the full use of his father's office if they don't pay. So that happens, and all of a sudden, wow, the shit's starting hitting the fan.
Yeah.
But hold it. We have Lindsey Graham talking about nukes in Russia. You remember that story coming up? I don't think it made the doc.
I do. I didn't. Shit,
That's okay.
Man. I didn't get it on the doc. I must have missed that one.
That's okay. I completely forgot it. I kept trying to remind myself to go ahead and add it, and I completely forgot it. So Lindsey Graham does this. What was it? Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Was it a bill?
God, man, that was right after the Hunter Biden plea deal,
right?
That this comes out from Lindsey. Sorry, Senator Lindsey Graham. So I don't know.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm not going to find it that fast, I don't think. Anyway, they have this bill. A bill comes out, and they're really worried about nukes in Russia. There's that.
And you know what I also didn't make the doc is what you just showed there, the whole Durham testimony.
Yes.
On Capitol Hill. I didn't put that on the doc either. Jesus, what a week.
Well, that didn't hit because it nothing mattered past the submarine that went down.
Right. And that's
all that mattered.
That's kind of one of our points tonight is that once again, they have the shiny object, which is these 5 people, went down in this sub. I think everybody's heard the story now. What's interesting is that, and again, we're just bobbing and weaving, but the U.S. Navy, U.S. Navy has listening stations underwater all around this planet. Don't you doubt they know basically everything that's going on in the oceans around the world. If it's big, they heard the implosion on Sunday. We didn't hear about it. There were search vessels. The Coast Guard got involved, private vessels, teams from all over the world came out to search for this thing all week. Finally, on Thursday, the U.S. Navy was like, oh, yeah, there's a debris field. And we heard it on Sunday. We heard the implosion. We knew they were dead. So while there was all this circus going on, McShane, you mentioned bread and circus earlier. All of this circus is going on around all these things, around the sub and in these 5 people and what could have happened. We have all of this shit going on behind the scenes. JP Morgan was active. BlackRock was active. We'll get to all of that. But one of the things was Hunter got a wrist slap. Lindsey Graham comes out with this. You didn't find the story? He comes out with this story about missiles in Russia, nuclear missiles in Russia. Okay, excellent.
Resolution that says that if Russia or Belarus or a proxy of Russia explodes a nuclear device inside of Ukraine to stop the counteroffensive or to try to break the will of the Ukrainian people, such an attack should be considered an attack on NATO itself. We're of the belief that a nuclear weapon unleashed in Ukraine would irradiate large portions of Europe where we have NATO allies. And why are we doing this? President Biden says threat of Putin using tactical nuclear weapons is real. That's like the 20th story down.
He's holding up a piece of paper.
Urgency. We're urging our colleagues here to get serious about what could happen in Ukraine.
So it wasn't even a bill. It was just him talking about how concerned everybody is, or everybody should be, about what's going on in Russia and how we should really fear Russia using nukes.
Okay. And real quick, just to Be a dick.
I think it was before that. I think this tweet is from the 23rd. I'm pretty sure that came out on on Monday. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Just to be a dick. Wind patterns for Europe, just like the United States, for the most part, they blow from west to east. Okay, so anything that happens in Ukraine, nuclear-wise, is going to blow east. Do you know what's east of Ukraine? Russia. So basically every word out of his mouth in that little, whatever that was, press conference, I don't know, is complete and total bullshit. So this is a chance for me to pimp one of my favorite sites, nullschool.net, Null school.net. Go to nullschool.net. It'll show the global wind patterns real time for things that are going on right now. Storms, how fast the wind is. You can do different altitudes all the way down from ground level all the way up to the ionosphere. It'll show you. It's a fascinating site, and it's just up there 24/7. Data is being collected, but I'm looking at it. The wind maps right now for Europe are blowing strongly from west to east, from left of the map to the right of the map. So no, dude, if a nuke goes off in Ukraine, it's not going to threaten Europe. It's going to threaten Russia.
It's going to hit Russia. It's going to get China.
India, because it'll sweep south. You bet.
Yep.
So goddamn. Anyway, I had to just throw that in there because fuck you, Lindsay. You're just fear mongering at this point. That's all you're doing.
Well, but it sets up what happened yesterday too.
Okay, good. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is how the week's progressing, right? We get to yesterday, and suddenly the Wagner Group is marching on Moscow. So all day yesterday, Friday, there's talk about there's a coup in Russia. They're coming for Putin. You can't find Putin. Putin's on his ranch someplace.
Yeah, he's in a bunker.
Yeah. Yep. He's hunkered down, and all hell's breaking loose. Russia's eating itself alive.
It was a wild day, dude. I mean, the tweets that were coming in from all of those, sort of all those people that are in the intelligence community that we follow. I mean, it was every 2 or 3 minutes they were putting out something new. I mean, the Defense Department was taken over by, loyal, troops to the Wagner Group. Then, someone released footage of this helicopter blowing shit up, which that turned out to be actually false. 150 miles southwest of Moscow. I mean, it was wild. It was crazy. You just thought, oh my God. And the CIA was over there either pulling the strings or salivating, going, all right, this is it. This is going to end the whole thing.
It's finally going to happen. This is going to be
It's
great.
over. Yeah. And lo and behold,
today,
it turns out everything's cool. So the rumor is I saw a very lengthy video. I am not going to talk for 45 minutes on this. I'm going to talk for 30 seconds. I'm going to sum up this dude's 45-minute video in 30 seconds. Basically, the head of the Wagner Group, Prashenko, I don't remember his name.
Prigozhin?
Prigozhin, yeah, thank you. He's been asking for, more ammunition, more weapons out on the front. He hasn't been getting them. Typical government, that your shit doesn't get there when you need it to. Then some quote unquote errant missiles landed on some of his guys, on his troops, and they were from Russia. They missed, it was friendly fire, which, friendly fire is usually accidental. He was claiming it was on purpose. So he gets pissed. He's like, fuck it. We're marching to Moscow. Wah! Well, Putin and him go way back. In fact, he was Putin's personal chef. This
guy is wild. He's done time. He had a hot dog cart.
Yes, thank you.
He's absolutely wild.
That's what I mean. We could do a whole show on him, on Prigozhin. But anyway, he's a close personal friend with Putin. So Putin makes a phone call, sorts it all out, and says, "Hey, you're right. We're going to get you the ammo and the weapons you need. It was a mistake. We didn't mean to hit you guys. We thought you were a Ukrainian sight. We're not going to hit your guys again. We'll make sure you have transponders so that we won't get you guys again. Can you please get out there and get back to the front?" And Prigozhin was like, "All right, cool. Everything's cool." And they turned his tanks around and all of his troops, and off they go to go fight the war again against Ukraine. So that's literally, I just summed up the last 24 to 36 hours of a, man, people were so on it. It's a coup. It's a coup. It was not.
Well, I even bid on it too.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
did that video late yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, now this is interesting.
Uh-huh.
And I think your point about the CIA is fascinating, especially since we had how many billion were found in an accounting error?
6.2 billion. Yep. 6.2 billion.
All right.
And you just wonder if somebody didn't pay off the Wagner Group to go start some shit. And then so he gets his money, gets the money deposited, starts marching on Moscow, and then as soon as his guys are like, "Yep, the check cleared," he's like, "Okay, let's go back. We just made 6.2 billion off the United States taxpayers, and now we're going to go fight Ukraine again." That's a very plausible storyline.
It absolutely is. And these guys are the equivalent of our Blackwater too.
Yes, right.
So they're
paramilitary.
mercenaries.
Yep.
They're going to do whatever they want to do anyway. So
yep. They're in it for the money. Period.
All right. So you got that going on. You know what? Let's take a break.
I was going to say, dude, I'm tired already.
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and get into the BlackRock stuff that broke.
Oh my God, yes, and J.P. Morgan, because they're all up in that shit too.
Yes, it was a fascinating week. We'll be right back.
All right.
James O'Keefe of O'Keefe Media or Group. Do you know their initials are Oh My God, OMG.
Yes, I know. I kept reading that. I'm like, why is someone so shocked at what's going on? Oh, okay. That's their.
That's it. Okay.
That's great.
So O'Keefe gets some woman totally gets this Sergey Varley. It's a hell of a name. Sergey Varley. A recruiter for BlackRock to talk. And he's talking on camera. This one was really hokey. I thought it was really, really hokey.
It did seem hokey. It felt a little staged. Not staged, but scripted. I don't know. I don't know.
It seemed like it. It seemed like it. And his video views went way down on this one. He only had 14.5 million views. Still a ton, don't get me wrong. But that's way under what I think the Pfizer one did. I think the Pfizer one did like 175 million or something. It was a ridiculous amount.
Right. Yep.
So anyway, this recruiter totally rolls over on how the sausage is made. We knew that politicians were on the take. We know that they're getting bribed. We know that BlackRock has their hands in everything. We've talked about it on the show. We even, I think last week or the week before, we even just like went down the list of everything they own. And the whole idea is they've got ownership in everything. They make money off of everything.
Yep.
So this story breaks, and all of a sudden, it's a huge thing. And remember, we've got a submarine that's disappeared.
look at my hand waving over here that has bells on it, and it's shaped like a penis. And also, there's a submarine sinking, and there's people on board, and we can hear knocking noises. Remember that? That was a weird stage of it.
Yes.
We were hearing knocking noises when
Yes.
the Navy knew it had already imploded. But they fed us the story that they heard knocking noises and that these people might still be alive. Anyway, continue.
So this BlackRock story breaks, and it just starts, people start seeing, okay, so this is how the sausage is made. And it's one thing to make that assumption, right? You have a feeling that's how it works. You have a feeling this is what's going on. You don't have any, you can't put the words to it. You don't have any proof.
Yeah, there's no actual paper trail. I mean, because we've talked about a lot on the show. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to everybody at this point. You got BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, who, by the way, all own major portions of each other. So they're basically all one big conglomerate company running everything. I mean, these companies own pieces of everything in your life, literally. You name it, they own a piece of it. So that's who these companies are. This story breaks on BlackRock, but really you're talking about Vanguard and State Street too. Go ahead.
No, and this breaks, and all of a sudden you've got this. A ton of people are talking about it. So much so that the very next day, O'Keefe Media gets cyber attacked.
Smashed.
And they got punched in the dick.
Oh yeah.
And he's hardly been online since. Yeah,
no, I think he made that video. He released that video kind of hey, we're getting nailed by spam, and there was one other malware that they were getting. Anyway, he put out that video. Since that video, we have not heard anything from him. I think they overloaded everything and blew some fuses.
So yeah, that was very telling.
That was a hell of a run there with all of that news coming down. And again, we can go as far on this show as to say that person claimed to be a recruiter for BlackRock. We can go that far. We don't know for sure that that's who he is. We don't know for sure that that's actually what's going on. Although, like McShane said, that's what we all feel is going on. But then another story breaks about BlackRock and JP Morgan. The documents get released that we find out that they were asked, those two companies alone were asked to set up the bank that's going to fund the rebuilding of Ukraine, which go ahead.
$411 billion that are going to be required to rebuild Ukraine.
And by the way, just real quick, guess who's footing that bill? That's right, you and me. They got a $500 billion tax write-off from the U.S. government to set this bank up. We are paying for this. They are completely tax exempt as they do this. And that also should tell you, that should give you a clue as to where we're headed here with the Ukraine war. I think Zelensky's lost his usefulness. He's not a useful idiot anymore. The Ukraine war, the American public doesn't want to be there. We don't want anything to do with it. So short of some major false flag incident with, as again, going back to Lindsey Graham, some nuke going off or something, I don't think the American public has any interest in being there anymore. So, hey, BlackRock and JP Morgan to the rescue. We're gonna go ahead and set up the bank that's gonna fund, and we're gonna make money off of this. Don't you doubt. They're gonna give out loans at a pretty healthy interest rate to the Ukrainian people, so they'll make money on top of the money that they're making from their money. It's fucked up. Unbelievable.
So I'm going to bounce something off you. I'm going to go full tinfoil hat here real quick.
Go for it.
COVID pumped Big Pharma. Right? I mean,
yeah.
Big time.
Oh,
like everybody.
Right. I mean, the records that fell for how much money, and so much of that shit was thrown away, but it didn't matter. Pfizer got paid for it. J&J got paid for it. Moderna, they got paid for it. So yeah, throw it away. That's okay. We already got our billions.
Ukraine's done. I mean, I think we can safely. I mean, it might be a little premature. Well, let's be the first ones to go ahead and call it DOA.
Yeah. Well, they're setting up the rebuilding bank. You don't set up a rebuilding bank. Right.
Exactly. This week also, the U.S. flipped on Taiwan.
Boy, that was weird. I'm glad you brought that up right now. That was weird.
I'm going to say we're done with China. We're done with the whole imperial business. Now we're going to have a year of calm as we go into the election. You got Trump in jail. You've got Uncle Sniffy he's taking on water because of this WhatsApp message that went to the Chinese.
Yep.
I think
and a
this
few
is
other
all
things. I mean, actual articles of impeachment were brought up on Biden. That's another thing we haven't hit yet.
All this happened this week.
this week, articles of impeachment are brought up against our president.
So I don't know how you feel about that. I'm in that camp right now.
No, I can't dispute a word you said. And I think, if it comes true, you and I are going to look like really smart people. If it doesn't come true, we're still going to look like smart people because we're just throwing out ideas. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody. You like how I did that? Like no matter what happens, we're smart.
It's a win-win.
But really, honestly, no one knows what's going to happen. We're all just guessing. I mean, it's kind of one of those. You remember the movie? Shit, it just flew out of my head. Rush Hour. With Chris, goddamn loudmouth. What's his name? Chris Tucker, and of course the venerable Jackie Chan. And they have a scene in this Chinese massage parlor. And then this fight sort of is about to break out, and you just see a foot come up and smack Chris Tucker's character in the face. He's all, which one of you just kicked me? That's where we're at right now. You're going to get kicked. Something crazy is going to happen. Something else is going to come on top of all the other shit. You just don't know from where. But I can't. No, and from everything you said, I can't dispute anything. I'm kind of in that camp myself. I think we need we need a let's calm everything down as we start slinging mud at each other. As far as political candidates, they need to start slinging that mud, and it's going to be interesting who comes out of the fray. I mean, there was a tweet that somebody said, looks like Gavin Newsom. They're throwing Biden under the bus, so it looks like Gavin Newsom's going to be the new. I don't know about that. That dude's he's basically a human shart. I don't think people are going to buy him as a president. I don't know.
Can you imagine that hairdo in the office?
No. And he's got some wacky ideas. I mean, I think even Californians are kind of waking up to, dude, this guy's fucking whack. Our cities are going to shit. We can't hardly pay taxes. Why are we living here? I mean, how many Californians are leaving every year? It's crazy. They ran out of U-Haul trucks. They ran out of U-Haul trucks.
California. It's a premium to have a U-Haul truck if you're going to take it out of state.
That's right. They charging them extra. So I don't think Newsom's the guy, but clearly Biden isn't either, and not Trump. So It'll be interesting to see as we, like you said, as we head into, true political season here in fall, this fall. The clock starts running. You have 365 days to get your guy elected, and it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
What if the whole trans summer, which that seems like the BLM summer that we had a couple months ago, right?
Yeah,
or a couple years ago. Yeah,
true.
What if trans summer was just a setup to have Michelle Obama and her big dick be in the presidency?
Can't dispute it. And
where are you on that? Where are you on that? I don't know. I mean, I've seen the videos. It makes me laugh. It makes me giggle. But
at this point, yeah, I mean, it makes me giggle too. At this point, there's probably so many videos that have been doctored out there that you can't tell. But when I first heard this, probably 2 years ago, there was her guest spot on the Ellen Show was pretty telling. Those white pants showed a lot. There was another couple ones, just candid sort of times when she was sitting next to Barack and they would get up for applause or whatever, and there's a bulge there. There's something going on. Either way, I'll be honest. I like Michelle Obama. I don't care if Michelle used to be Michael. I really don't give a fuck. I don't want the Obamas back in office. It has nothing to do with the fact if she's trans or not, or I just don't want the Obamas anywhere near it because they're part of the Bushes. They're part of, the whole cabal that's up there that's been running things for 30 years. And I want some new blood. And I'm not even saying Bobby Kennedy's that new blood. He's a Kennedy. His ties go deep.
He's got a past too.
Yeah. I want somebody. I've never heard of your fucking name. You were a mailman for 25 years and you decided to get into public office. That's who I want. It's funny. I sent that video from Peter St. Ange, which great follow on Twitter. He's also got his videos up on TikTok and Instagram. Really smart guy. I sent that video and Hefe came back with like, this guy needs to be in charge of something. Why doesn't someone like that run for president? Very well spoken, very knowledgeable about the economy, could right our economic ship tomorrow. Literally has the credentials and the chops to do that tomorrow. I would vote for that guy 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. But that's not the guy they're going to give us. I want someone coming out of left field we never saw coming. Not Trump, not some fucking philanthropist, failed, realtor or real estate guy. That's not what I want either. I want somebody who's from the people and for the people. And that's my wish. And we're not going to get it. I know we're not going to get it. That's why I drink. I mean, that's
This is why we drink.
This is why we drink, because we're never going to get that.
All right. I think you just named the show.
Yikes. Dude, hey, kudos. We are flying through this doc. We have hit so many, and again, I'm sorry for everybody out there. This might be one of those shows where you're listening along and you have to pause us and go look up some shit. That's okay. Yeah. We totally encourage that, because we have bounced all over the place already, and there's more to go. We're scratching the surface here, guys. It was such a busy week.
And that's how the week went, though. That everything, it was, let's go ahead and dump everything we possibly can so that people miss some of this stuff.
Right.
The whole Hunter, the $5 million that the Chinese were supposed to pay him, that got buried. He's got articles of impeachment now, which it's partially that. Yeah, but even the articles of impeachment, nobody's talking about that.
No, it's on no mainstream media. And if they couldn't impeach Trump, I seriously doubt they're going to be able to impeach Biden. As much as I would love to see it.
Yeah, he's not getting impeached.
Because he's dirty as hell. Anybody out there, don't you doubt. That old man is dirty as dirty comes.
They'll finally admit that he has dementia, and they'll let him go off into the sunset.
Right.
That'll be that.
He'll get to go. He'll be put out to pasture.
We'll get Kamala Lala Ding Dong.
Oh God, please no.
Hey,
please no. Could you imagine her giving the State of the Union address? We're here to talk tonight about the things that we're here to talk about tonight, and as a country, we need to talk about these things that we're here to talk about tonight. And as a country, coconuts. You didn't fall. And then that weird laugh she does. My God. Yikes. Anyway,
hey, let's give the sub some love though. Can we get into this a little bit, because it is funny.
The little sub that couldn't.
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator. I think it was General MacArthur said, "You're remembered for the rules you break." And I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium. There's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
You will be remembered as an idiot.
Oh God, Hefe's comment when you dropped that video earlier in the week. Hefe's comment of, "Oh, you'll be remembered," dude. You know what people have been putting videos out, the whole tin can thing. I don't know if your high school physics teacher ever did, but the whole tin can, you put water in it, get it all hot, and then you put it in cold water, and the atmospheric pressure just crushes it. That's not what happened here, guys. This with the carbon fiber doesn't crush like tin. It shatters like glass.
Yeah.
So there was probably a loud thud, and someone went, "What the fuck was that?" And then boom, they were a mile and a half deep, trying to breathe, and no sub around them. I mean, it just instant crushed water, and the human body just can't take that. I do take solace in the fact I think it was pretty quick. I do.
So, well, there's been some talk because of the amount of pressure that was below that, and I don't have the video here. I was watching it earlier tonight. I should have posted it, but this there was so much pressure that that sub would have crushed in a nanosecond.
Yes. Yeah.
And like I guess it takes about 13 milliseconds for your body, for your eyes to register seeing something. And I think it's like 88 milliseconds for your brain to feel or something like that. It's some kind of a weird stat. They never knew it happened.
No,
they didn't.
It was, I do. I think they heard something and someone went, what was that? And then, snap of a finger, you're out. So I just looked up the equation for, because this is who we are on Whiskey Hell. I just looked up the equation for how you calculate water pressure as you go deeper, because I think one thing that people realize to a degree but don't fully appreciate is, you if you're in a swimming pool and you go down 5 feet, you start to feel the pressure in your ears. But if you're a diver and you dive off the high dive and the reason divers go in the way they do is so that they don't go all the way down to the 20-foot depth, because 20 feet actually hurts. I've been down that deep. I've actually been down to like 30 feet with no tank or anything, just down there swimming, snorkeling. That's it. If you're not used to it, that is a lot of pressure. Well, they were down over a mile. We don't know exactly how deep, but they made it to a mile at least, probably closer to a mile and a half. The amount of pressure there, we just can't fathom it, because it's outside of, what our normal human senses should even be able to calculate, because humans aren't supposed to go that deep. But it's like you said, it is so damn quick that it happened. They never knew what happened. It just, yeah.
And we're not making fun of this.
No,
obviously
I'm not.
Five individuals perished. It is absolutely terrible.
That is terrible. And I do feel bad, although simultaneously,
let's be realistic.
While that was happening, there was a migrant ship that was trying to get to Italy. It had 500 migrants on it, and it capsized. You know how many they rescued? 60. But there's no news story.
Supposedly wiped out a village, right?
Right. There's no news story about that. There wasn't a whole fleet of ships coming to save those 440 people.
No.
But these 5 are more special.
Well,
because they're wealthy.
They didn't have a Logitech controller on their boat.
That's true. Dude, I will say, and I know you're going to agree with this, the memes, and again, I personally am not making fun of the tragedy, but other people definitely are, and they were amazing this week. People were fucking hilarious with their memes on this sub thing. It was absolutely brilliant. More than once, I was like, I'm going to hell because I'm laughing so hard at some of the memes here. That one guy that was like, he put in a search in Google, how many people died at the Titanic. He worded at the Titanic. It was like, 1,503. And he scratched that out and he said 1,508.
Yep.
So great. People really got creative, and it's
the ghosts are excited because they finally got visited.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have new crew members. Oh shit.
It's terrible. It's a terrible thing, and it's also terrible that this is being used to deflect the news that broke this week.
Yep. It's the dog and pony show, and if you're not careful, you get too busy wagging the dog instead of the dog wagging you, or I don't know. You're getting wagged, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I need to get wagged hard.
Me too. You know what I need? I need my next beer. Are you ready?
I am ready. How did that one finish?
Let's break. Dude, as it started, just phenomenal. I'm really impressed with this beer. I'm actually now patting myself on the back for buying so many of them. It's going to be a great beer to have throughout the summer. Just phenomenal. How about you?
Good. It's a little more decadent than I wanted, but I enjoyed it. I don't have any issues with it. I would buy it again. I would not buy a ton of them, but if I see it out there, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Okay, it's getting colder out. I'll go ahead and I'll grab one of these. This wasn't bad. So yeah, Origins Cold Brew Coffee Stout. Good coffee stout.
Just not, you don't have to give an actual number, but was it, low priced, moderately priced? Was it high priced? I mean, was it affordable or was it
16 ounce
pricey?
can, about $6. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
bad.
Well, that's one that you can say, all right, I'm going to buy 2 or 3 of these because it gets the job done. It's pleasant to drink, and it's affordable. That's a great price point right there.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's get in the beer too.
All right, love it.
All right, so coming back, Fitz, I've got a beer that's from your neck of the woods.
So when you say my neck of the woods, are you talking Oregon or just the Pacific Northwest or what?
Oregon.
Okay, what do you got?
It is. It's from Wayfinder.
Okay, yeah, great brewery.
I have Shamanic Whip 6 Quantum of Solace Pale Ale.
Never had it.
It smells wonderful. I'm not a big pale ale guy, but this smells so good. Lots of citrus, big frothy white head, much like my love.
Yeah.
Golden pour. I'm gonna let the head go down a little bit. They're our Portland, Oregon brewery.
Yes.
And I guess they've got a little bit of D&D background. Was that what I'm understanding?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I don't know. I know they're probably Portland's most solid.
Okay.
Yeah, most solid brewery up there. They're pretty great. We do have a Hefe sighting here. Hefe, you're coming in at a good time here, but we're just about to review our second beers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let her rip.
Let me dive into this. It's a strong, thick head too. So
That's what we like.
It's a good start.
okay, the head reminds me of the frothy topping on a lemon meringue pie.
Oh, fun. It's the meringue.
Mm-hmm. This is a good pale ale. Not too bitter. Quenching. Mm-hmm. That's a nice beer. That's a nice beer. There's definitely some citrus there. It is a beer that actually smells better than it tastes.
Oh,
but the taste is, it's good. It's a good beer. But I could just sit here and just let the aroma of it do its thing, and it's a gorgeous beer too. That's a nice way to end the night.
Yeah.
What do you have there?
You know, I had a beer recently that's the exact opposite of that. It smells like somebody just literally like lit up a blunt and then blew the smoke in my face. But then when you taste it, it's super citrusy, very clean, very delicious. It's the worst smelling, best tasting beer I've ever had. And it's from Ninkasi. It's called their Wit Rapids beer. So if any of you have a chance to pick it up, don't judge it by the smell. It's definitely tastes better than it smells. But
is it a dank smell or is it just like a?
It's super dank. It's like a Heineken had been left out in the sun for like 3 weeks. I mean, it's just terrible. You pop it open, you're like, what? Why am I going to drink this? And then you taste it, you're like, fuck, that's delicious. It's a really strange thing.
That made me shiver.
Yeah, it's that bad. So I am doing it's very rare that McShane and I both review the same beer on the show. I mean, we never reviewed the same beer at the same time, but McShane did review this beer a few weeks ago and really just didn't like it much. And I thought, why not?
You weren't going to do this on the show. Go ahead.
I know I wasn't, but
Well,
here we are. And I'm going to be a fucking wrecking ball. I'm having another one of the hits from the bung. This one is the Bananas Foster. This is from Oso. This is their English barley wine, which is the hits from the bung, but then they did several different beers off of that that mother recipe. So this is English barley wine aged in cognac, brandy, and rye barrels, like they all are, and then they added bananas, cinnamon bark, and vanilla beans. So I'm going to tell you, here's why I had to do this, McShane, because Bananas Foster and Hefe, it's one of my favorite desserts. Right. I'm not a sweets guy. I don't get into sweets at all. I'm not even, most people like to get through dinner to get to the dessert. I dread dessert. Like I want the dinner. So I'm not a desserts guy, but one thing that I do like is Bananas Foster, creme brulee, and tiramisu. Those are three things that I will always, I will say yes to. So I just want to try it. That's all.
All right. That's okay.
So,
that's what she said too.
Here we go. 0 head on this. Thin pour. Thick, viscous. We'll see.
God help you. I hope it works for you. I really, really do.
Oh my God. How do they do that?
Right?
Why? Whose beer is this beer?
It doesn't seem like an Oso, does it?
Wow. How do they get so much banana in that?
No, I know it's troubling. It's that much in there.
I feel like I'm in an old folks home and someone just delivered me all the banana pudding. Like here, Fitz, this is all you get to eat for the next 6 weeks. Yeah. I hope you like bananas. And I really
some bananas. Yeah.
You know what I do love? Not to get off the subject of this beer. I love and I miss like some good plantains. Some fried plantains. Oh,
plantains
God.
Are amazing. Yeah.
Fuck, that's my kind of banana. This is this is like overripened. This is like the banana's like brown, but you eat it anyway because you feel guilty that you bought it. Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through it though, because tell me about the booze. What did you experience for the booze?
The booze is balanced. It's definitely there. I mean, this is it's a 15.2%. So this is not for the faint of heart, not for children. So it's definitely there. I wouldn't say it's overpowering. What is completely overpowering, I get 0 cinnamon, 0 vanilla. It's just bananas being shoved in my mouth. And I know what you're thinking. F.A., especially you, I'm looking at you. I know what you're thinking. We were just talking last week about hot food that girls eat. So I know where your head's at. I'm just saying, this is like bananas in a blender. They threw in a fifth of Everclear, and maybe a little bit of powdered cinnamon in there, but I barely get that at all. So the booze it's there, and it definitely smacks you in the face, but that's not the worst part about it. The worst part is it's just too much banana. Too much. Wow.
Yeah. It was rough. It was really, really rough.
Oh.
Hey, Hefe, your idea for food that, I can't remember what the actual conversation was now. I think it was food that you'd want to have sex with.
No, it was if a hot girl's walking towards you, what would you want her to be eating? And I said a popsicle. Hefe,
oh, that's right.
Hefe likes the ice cream cone idea. But I can't go anything lactose based. I'm out.
Right.
Popsicle.
Yeah, no, I know you are, and we didn't get into anything that like a pickle or a banana, or any of the. I guess a popsicle is pretty phallic.
Oh,
and
totally
that's why it's hot, right? I mean, that's why it's hot.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's pretty clear correlation there.
Because we're all picturing sticking a frozen penis in their mouth.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Well, Miss Darkle and Hyde reached out to us on Twitter, and she really appreciated that conversation because now she knows what not to eat in public.
That's awesome.
Always here to help.
You know, we are just such we're just such a cause for public education, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean that was the point last week. That's why I brought it up.
Hey, so real quick, let's reverse it. All right, you see a hot girl across the way, and you want to walk towards her eating something sexy. What are you eating?
Kielbasa.
Oh, I thought you were going to reverse it the other way. Like when you're eating
Deep throating a kielbasa.
spaghetti.
No, so what are you going to entice? How are you going to show off your cunnilingus skills or your kissing skills? What are you walking towards her with?
I'm rapid fire repeat, like tying cherry stems in a knot and then just like throwing them at her.
Spitting them at
Spitting them at her. Here, this will make you wet.
You like that? You like that?
What about you, Hefe?
Oof, man. That's maybe like what is it called when they do the celery with the peanut butter?
Like ants on a log? That's with raisins, though.
I don't like raisins. So we're just going to go with the peanut butter and the celery.
Just the log?
And licking the peanut butter out of the middle.
Okay. All right.
One giant stroke.
I like it.
Where does a hot dog in a bun fit?
Well, see, I'm going. So here's where I'm going with it. And again, this is, this kind of shows all of our different philosophies on sex. I'm going to take one tiny little kidney bean, and as I'm walking towards her, I'm just going to lick it. I'm just going to lick the skin off of the kidney bean.
Oh my God.
And I just give her the eyes. Just like, look at this. The skin's coming off.
We would still get laid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we have
were
something
so
for everybody. Ladies, whatever your flavor is, we have you covered.
Do you have like a Ziploc bag full of kidney beans?
I will absolutely, just in case. Yeah, you cook them and steam them first, and then you let them cool off, and then you just you stick that shit in your back pocket. You got 15 or 20 of them because you never know how many girls you're going to see.
I'll have my little igloo cooler with my celery and peanut butter in it, walking around.
Shane comes in with the fucking the hot dog in the bun, squirting fucking ketchup on it. I don't care if it's that time of month, ladies. Oh God!
I'm gonna have like plasticware too, so I can, if I see a girl, I'll find a table and open the peanut butter and put her in the. I'm not gonna have it prepared.
No, you can't.
Take like 3 minutes to prepare it.
Well, yeah, and you're giving her like the sexy eyes the whole time.
Oh yeah,
like
total foreplay.
Oh yeah,
vibe.
Yeah, hey baby, do you see what I'm doing?
Why do people come out to where I'm taking a break? Don't they know I'm fucking doing podcasts?
They're fucking rude.
I think you need to throw some of your celery and peanut butter sticks at them. That'll get them to go away.
I should have like a 15-foot radius. If anyone gets in there, they have to pay a fee to they're listening to a live show. You can't just walk up in here.
Right. And or contribute to the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, hello, who are you? What is your name? What would you do if you wanted to entice somebody sexually with a piece of food? Go.
And two of my kids are sick, and I think they gave it to me. I'm feeling achy. Stomach.
No, that's not good, man.
I'm just feeling off. I almost went home at 10, which would have worked wonderfully for the show, but
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I hope not, dude. I hope you're not getting sick. That's shitty.
Hey, Hefe, can you do a survey for us next week?
A survey.
Yeah, any
Yeah.
woman that you see, ask them if they are conservative or liberal, and write it down for us.
And
No.
and then also put them on a scale of
Yes.
attractiveness to you. Are they attractive or unattractive to you? I mean, this is obviously an unscientific
Right.
survey. Yeah.
You know what? We
I
should
kinda-
also have like the spectrum too. Like on a scale of 10, how liberal are you then? How
Right.
conservative are you then?
Right.
And
Right.
I will then rate them on their hotness on a scale of 1 to 10. Because I
Yep.
do not.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna stop talking right there. Yeah.
I kind
So
of want
I,
to do. I want to do the fortune cookie thing where I say, "Are you conservative or liberal in bed?"
uh-huh.
But that's not the point of the survey. I know, but
No.
that's a heavy tangent.
You know what? Wait a couple weeks and then do that survey.
Yeah. Like follow up. Like I got to get their numbers and addresses,
Yeah.
work schedules.
Exactly. Not stalker like, not creepy. Just this is
Oh.
for science. It's for science.
Well, honestly, it's to back up these reports. There's a study that was posted in Nature that research took place in Denmark and utilized machine learning techniques on thousands of faces to predict their political ideology. The study led by Stig Hebelstrup.
What a name. That's a great
fantastic name. And his research
Stig.
team explored if computational neural networks can accurately determine a politician's political stance based on a single photograph of their face. 61% of the time, they're accurate.
That's definitely over chance.
Oh, yeah. So, with the first data set consisting of 5,230 pictures, those who were more moderate or could not be identified as right-wing or left-wing were excluded. They also excluded candidates of non-European origin because they were 2.5 times more likely to be representative of left-wing parties. Lastly, the researchers removed photos of politicians with beards because they can impair some of the subsequent analysis. Women with more attractive faces were more likely to be right-wing.
That's so interesting.
Well, I got to leave you guys.
All right, dude.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
I'll be back in an hour if you guys are still on.
Cool.
All right, later.
Later.
I thought it was an interesting little study.
It is. I found this one and I was like, this is just worth, if nothing else, just bringing up on the show because it is interesting and it is. I really like, number one, how they did the study. Number two, that they enumerated all of the sort of constraints they put on the study in this. Like you said, they took out basically everybody of color because and again, now we're talking about if you're gonna have to take out people of color who are obviously can be as attractive or unattractive as any of us.
Yep.
But because of their culture and how they grew up and how their parents' philosophies and ideologies were, they tend to be more left-wing, more progressive. You have to take them out of the study to get an accurate, that already tells you a lot right there. That we are sort of dealing with a Eurocentric, white-centric study because otherwise it would skew the results. And that to me, it was already interesting. And then the rest of the article, it's really a very well-written article, very kind of ingenious study. And then to have this conclusion that women who are considered more attractive, not that they are more attractive, but they're considered more attractive, their facial features, etc., are more likely to be conservative. That for some reason, and I don't know, McShane, maybe you'll have an opposite view. For some reason, that makes sense to me.
I can't argue with it. I know from what you see in the media, I think there's an argument there. I
here's my philosophy on that, because I want to quantify that. I think if you have grown up and you are attractive, you are beautiful, then you want things to stay the way they are. You found success in your life. I mean, from a very young age, people were saying, what a cute baby. Oh my gosh, she's such a pretty little girl. Oh my gosh, she's the hottest girl in school. Oh my gosh, she, she's the valedictorian, or she's a model, or whatever. And so you found success at every turn. I mean, that is a fact, that regardless of race, color, religion, whatever, if you are an attractive person, you will be more successful in life. That's a fact. So yes, you would then tend to be more conservative because you don't want things to change. You want things to stay the same as they were for you. However, if you have found strife and struggle and blockages where there shouldn't have been, because you're not a pretty person, you're not size 2, you don't have nice petite features, maybe you have receding hairline, or whatever, you fill in the blank, then you would want things to be different for your progeny, for your kids. You would want to see change. And I think, I'm not trying to just boil this whole study down into one thing, but that kind of seems like that in my head. That's where I went. That's why this study is valid. That's why it found what it found.
I think you're onto something. I do. It also goes on to say that in the end they were left with 4,647 images, with 1,442 of them being female. The sample was divided by both genders, and algorithm was applied to them separately. They found that masculinity and attractiveness weren't linked to ideology in men, but happy faces, both men and women, were likely to be representatives of right-wing parties. Meanwhile, politicians who had a neutral expression or showed contempt were more likely to represent left-wing ideologies. I think
because they don't like the way things are. Yeah, right.
So maybe we're just stating the obvious, but I do like that somebody went out and did a study like this, and a lot of people might have a problem with it, but it's science, and I'm sorry, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually, the fact that people have a problem with this, because there are a lot of people, that to me says this has validity.
Oh, it hit the nail on the head.
Exactly. When you start calling a fucking sheep a sheep, people are like, no, it's not. You get when you are in the area of truth, you can't even say right or wrong, but just truth. People tend to get a little, and especially when that truth sort of goes against what their view of the world, what their opinion is, you get some uproar. So that already tells you you're on the right path. So anyway, very interesting. I great study, very interesting article. I encourage everybody to go out and read it, because McShane just sort of hit some highlights, but it's very well written. So
yeah, and that's our first article from Evie.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting, little interesting. See, we're diverse. We're going out to women's magazines to bring fine literature and information to our public. We want female listeners.
Yeah, we have a very strong core of female listeners out there. I think most of them are probably here for your voice. I think you have a very nice radio voice, and I just want to compliment you on that. But the 2 or 3 that are here for my ridiculously whiny but witty voice, I think we have some, like we said earlier, we have something for everybody. So
we do.
Anyway, we welcome everyone. And again, we're not, the article wasn't saying, the study wasn't saying, and we are not saying that just because you are progressive or liberal doesn't mean you're ugly. It just means people who are considered beautiful and more attractive are more likely to be conservative, but not always. Yeah, I've definitely had my share of very attractive very liberal women in my court, and they actually, I'm more attracted to the liberal mindset in some ways, but nowadays that's kind of going to a place that it's now you're not even a female anymore. You're so progressive that you're a they them, and I'm just not into that. So
the UN making sure that hate speech is monitored, and that AI is going to be able to save us from bad reporting.
Okay, see, this was another one. So there was another article that I didn't put on the doc that it was kind of in the same camp as this. That young boy wore a shirt to school, and it said there are only two genders.
Two genders, right?
Yeah, and the courts found that he's not allowed to wear that shirt at school. So basically there is no freedom of speech. I mean, he didn't curse. He wasn't putting anybody down. He was just wearing a shirt that said there are only two genders.
It made a statement.
It made a statement. And this is kind of in that same realm of, honestly, I'm a purist. When it comes to freedom of speech, I am a purist. You get to say whatever you want, even if it's offensive, even if it puts somebody down, even if it holds a ethnic or racial or religious group down, you're allowed to say it. It is up to the rest of us to have the courage to call you a dipshit and to prove you wrong, or to ostracize you from our society, so you don't get to say those things anymore. But you're allowed to say them. I mean, it was Voltaire who said, "I may disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it."
To say it, yes.
Right. That's it. That's who I am. I will never. I will disagree with you all day. I will debate you all day. But if somebody comes and says they're not allowed to say those things, I'm fighting. It's not okay to censor. And the UN, this is what kills me about this art. This was the UN, people, the United Nations. Why are they getting involved in freedom of speech, censorship? Why? George Soros?
Oh, it is. It's totally George Soros. It's Meta.
There you go.
The United Nations Development Program developed the tool in concert with Meta, journalistic organizations, and left-wing nonprofit groups, including one funded by billionaire George Soros. The UN boasts that iVerify will ensure seamless collaboration between media, government, and the private sector.
Wow. Scary.
Media, government, and business. Let's call it what it is.
Scary. Wow. That last sentence you just read, scary. It should scare. I'm hoping all of our listeners just had a shudder down their spine. That's frightening.
Misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech threatened peace and security, disproportionately affecting those who are already vulnerable, the UNDP says. While we can only guess what speech our digital overlords will deem problematic, this is a Washington Examiner article, which I enjoyed the article. I thought they called it pretty well.
They called it. Yep.
Will deem problematic in the coming months. We have a good idea where their values lie. One page on its website decrees homophobic and transphobic attitudes in certain countries and explains the Marxist concept of an intersection of oppression between different ethnic and sexual minorities, complete with a video promoting a drag queen. This is the UN.
Yeah.
Everybody, we've heard New World Order, One World Government. We've seen this time and time again. This is one of the ways you get there. I guarantee you, we won't survive if we're put up against this.
Well, of course not, because at the end of the day, it takes a man and a woman to make a kid. It takes actual copulation with a penis and a vagina. And you can call you, I mean, the dude can call himself a woman and the woman can call herself a man. But if the sperm meets the egg, then we're all good. We get to have kids. But you start going down this pipeline here where you're making it that those of us who are quote unquote typical, normal, whatever, we're cisgender, which Elon had a whole thing about that this week, which we're not going to get into, but and you're making us feel like we're we should be ashamed.
Well, it's gaslighting.
The opposite. Yeah.
The program, it's built around gaslighting. This is a mass marketing tool.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it is.
You're 100%. No, that's well said, dude. That's yeah. So concerning another well-written article, Washington Examiner kind of killed it on this one. And also scary. And then, so on the doc, the article right below that I threw in there is, again, going back to Barack Obama. What do you think he wants? He's proposing digital fingerprints to combat quote unquote misinformation and cites vaccine stuff as the justification. So now you have to have your fingerprint, your biometrics somehow associated with what you say, so that you can no longer be anonymous.
Well, this is the Twitter killer. This is the Twitter killer.
There it is. You cannot just say things anonymously. You now have to have a name and a face to what you're saying, and then you can. And I don't have a problem with that first statement. Like, fine, I should know who's talking shit about me. Let me face my accuser. That's U.S. law. I have the right to face my accuser. Fine. That's okay. But then the next step will be, you can be persecuted for what you said. There is no more freedom of speech, remember, because we just talked about that.
No, so that's Scarlet Letter shit. That's Scarlet Letter shit.
There you go. That's where we're at. And I those two stories together scare me more than any war in Ukraine, any coup in Russia, any plans for Taiwan. None of that shit scares me. This stuff,
no.
I stay up at night. I stay up at night, and I mean, this is what nightmares are full of right here.
So going back to all the stuff that you saw last week, this is the stuff that nobody's talking about.
You bet.
That's a Blaze news article. You guys can go ahead and check out show notes and give that a run. If we're missing a resource, let us know what it is. If there's a publication that you swear by, you think, hey, this is something that's going to be, you guys need to really get into this. These guys are awesome. Let us know, because we're all over the place. We've had the Washington Examiner tonight. We've had Blaze Media. CNN's been on here already. We're all over Twitter.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson, absolutely.
Yep.
There's tons of resources. We're not just drawing from one because we don't trust just one resource. We don't.
No,
we trust very few. But
no,
let us know.
In fact, our process is one of the three of us will find something, and then the other two or the other one or whatever will go out and be like, hold on, I need to verify this, and we'll search exhaustively to find it. The other point of view, whether or not it's true, whether or not we can validate anything in the article.
Yep.
So we're literally asking if there is something out there that's your go-to. We'd love to hear about it, because as you know, the internet is too vast for any one of us to conquer. So yes, anything that's out there. That's a great call, McShane. Anything that's out there. I am willing to look at both sides, every side, upside down, top side. I mean, give us all the views, because I don't think, in fact, this has been proven out. We haven't really talked about this, but there was a experiment done. This was back in the 1800s, and they had people. It was kind of a carnival trick. They had people come and look at this heifer, this big cow, and try and guess her weight. what do you think, how much do you think she weighs? And they would write down their answer and put it in a glass jar with, the gimmick being whoever guesses the closest gets, $50 or $100 or whatever it was back then. It was a, decent sum of money. So they would get, these thousands of people that were at the carnival. Why not take 3 seconds, guess the weight. Yeah. And then you might win $100. What they found was, and it was kind of some purist scientists running this thing, but they put out some carnival barkers to make it look like it was just part of the carnival and part of the circus or part of the fair. Anyway, what they found was basically nobody guessed the cow's weight exactly. But you know what? If you added up everybody's guess and took the absolute middle, the average,
yep,
they were dead on every time. Huh. So you had some people that were guessing, oh, she only weighs 200 pounds. Well, that's ridiculous. You had some people saying, oh, she's got to be 2 tons. That's also ridiculous. And then a bunch of people in the middle. And if you average that out, if you take everybody's input, you kind of found the actual weight. Yep. And that's our philosophy on this show, is that we know the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle of all of our opinions. And we need the far left wingers and we need the far right wingers, because they keep things moving. They keep the discussion going, and they bring up thoughts we never would have thought of. But at the end of the day, the truth really is where the moderates are, where those of us who see both sides, but can also see the wisdom of staying in the middle somewhere and maybe moving the needle a little bit left or right here and there where we need to, but not these extremes. That's where we want to get to with the show. So, anyway, that's all to say. Great idea from McShane. If you have any trusted places that you go to, please let us know, because we'd love that.
Hey, you wanted to get into, let's do a little more housekeeping. You had a conversation with C55 Victor. What was that?
Yes, I did. Okay. So let me get into Twitter here real quick. But there was a tweet that somebody put out about something about climate change. Let me find it here. See if I can find the original tweet. Anyway, it was about basically how, climate change is going to kill us all. And I just put in, it was in the last 120 years, we haven't seen this level of ice melt or something. And I replied, just you saying that already says that the amount of information we have is very limited. 120 years is nothing compared to the history of this planet. So you're already admitting that, maybe the last 120 years we've slightly increased our temperature, but to then draw that claim for sure that it's because of human caused, you have no idea if that's the truth, because truth be told, the Earth has been much, much hotter in the past, when humans weren't even a thing. When we weren't even a blip on the radar. This planet has been 10 to 15 degrees Celsius on average higher than we are now. That's huge. Like, there were no polar ice caps. Everything was an ocean, and life still thrived. So anyway, I put this out there, and this person, C55 Victor, responded to me and said, hey, do you have any claims? Do you have any proof for what you're saying? So I was like, yes, I do. So I went out and I posted the last 1 million years worth of climate data. And there is it looks like a heartbeat. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And the ups 1 million years ago were way higher than we are now. In fact, we are in one of the cooler times of our planet. And we're just now starting to heat back up, but we've been we're just coming out of a mini ice age back in the 1600s. So I posted that. Then he or she, I don't know, but they came back with other things. Well, what about this? And what about, and I had a week-long conversation with this person.
Good for you.
About climate change. And the reason I want to bring it up is because we were both open and willing to talk to the other person. We had a dialogue. They read what I posted and said, "Oh, great, but what about this?" And then I read what they put and I said, "Oh, great, but do you know about this?" And it was a fucking conversation, McShane. And it was so refreshing. It was like we were both just there to hear the other person. We weren't even coming back and saying, "Oh, you're wrong," or "You're stupid. Look at this." It was, "Well, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what about that?" And in fact, some of the articles that they posted, I couldn't refute one thing in the article, but I did say, I can't refute any of that. But look, they're missing this, and this. So yes, everything they're saying is true, but you're missing 90% of the story. And then they came back and they were like, "Holy shit, I never heard about that. Why didn't I hear about this? This is amazing." So it was just a really nice. There are still good people out there who are willing to have a debate and a conversation and a dialogue about really important issues. It doesn't have to, I mean, so often, the triggers, abortion, climate, and sexuality. Any of those three things, as soon as you start to say the other side, they're like, "Well, you're an asshole. You're just like everybody else." And out they go. And this person was willing to stand in there toe to toe, have a conversation, and really, dude, I was like, at one point I was reading it to my wife and I was like, "This is pure science. What we're doing is pure science. They're debating one side, I'm debating the other, and somehow we're going to come to what the truth is." That's what science should be.
You mean a debate was okay?
So that's why I had to bring it up on the show, because it was a really special thing. And so props to you, whoever you are, C55 Victor.
Galen Maskin at Galen Maskin.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we you give him props when we drop the show. That's awesome. Good for you.
Great.
So that was the most productive thing you out of the two of us, for as far as Twitter goes, for at least for me.
Yeah.
I know that totally tops me and what my shenanigans were.
But you had some freaking nukes that you dropped this week, which are also productive because people read it and they go, "Okay, I never thought of that before." This one, you know what this one was? This one just felt more personal, more intimate.
It did.
That we could just, it was more of just like almost like a DM, but yet it was public. People could read what he was posting, what I was posting, and they could, either choose sides or just be there for the debate. So it was really nice. Really
awesome.
Nice.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Not So Big No at Not So Big No. He opened up his podcast again. A win is a win. So go download his show.
Great listen.
Fun stuff.
Yes, I listened in. Thank you for finding it, first of all, McShane, and then telling me that he had his show back up. And then I went and listened to it. Great listen. The dude is just it's like you're just sitting in the room talking to him, talking with him. He's your best buddy, but he's also going to make you think. Great show. So huge props.
And he doesn't pull any punches. It's very real. It's very down to earth. I super enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to more episodes from him.
Agreed.
I do want to give a shout out to Gray's Tap Room for getting their trulyradio247.com stream going. So you guys can go to stream.trulyradio247.com. Just go to Gray's Tap Room Pod on their Twitter and just go look at their links. They've got a Patreon up. They've got links you guys can go to. They've got the show that they do from week to week. But they do have a music show that they're doing now. I think it's on Saturday nights. Actually, it's actually during our show.
I think it's moved around a little bit. They tried a Thursday night once, they tried a Saturday night once, they tried a Friday night, but I think they're going to settle on Saturday nights. Yeah, and who are these people, McShane? I mean, you and I mean, we put a lot of work into this show. I'm not saying we don't, but we have a show. These two have like 15 shows, plus they have a kid who does a show.
Yep.
And I mean, their lives to live. They have jobs, and yet they seem to pull it off seamlessly. And every week they put out good content, fun stuff. And the radio show, I really like the idea of it. You did a radio show for a little while that I was a guest on a couple of times, and I really like. You know what I miss, dude, is the old time DJ, the dude that was, at 10 o'clock at night. He would do the overnight radio show, and he'd show up with his arm full of records stuffed under his arm, and he knew what he was going to play, and he had to find the right cut, and he had to introduce it, and you always learn something about the artist, the musicians, the producers. That's gone. We don't have that anymore, and so anybody who's
we've got top 40, baby. That's all that matters. And we're going to play it on 5 different stations.
And it's all the same shit. I mean, I turn on, it doesn't matter what I turn on. It all sounds the same. It's all auto-tuned. It all sucks. It's not real music. Anyway, I know I sound like an old guy, but my whole point is to say that the Grays, Tabby and Mike are out there kind of trying to, revive the live radio show, and it needs to be revived, and so good for them. And any support you guys can send their way is, I feel like we talk about them every week, but it's because they're awesome. So anyway, major props.
Yeah, I gotta try and find time. I still think I want to do that, so we'll see. Because we don't get to play music on here. That's the only thing that's missing. And I think if we were able to get back into music a little bit, that might be.
No, and there's a lot of things that McShane and I have bonded over the years. A lot of things. We have a lot of things in common. But I think one of our strongest bonds, are and our strongest shared memories are the music that we love together, and then all the concerts we went to together.
Oh yeah.
And just had a fucking killer time. Sometimes they were crazy nights where we fucking got in the mosh pit and owned it. Other nights where, we're going to sit in the back here and just enjoy the Mad Caddies, just kill it. And those were great nights. We have a lot of shared memories doing all of that, and I miss it.
Yeah.
And so, McShane and I, we cannot start this show without some walk-up music. I mean, it's a thing. It's what we do. One or both of us has a song in mind, and we figured out which one we're going to play, and then that's how we start off the show. That's why we start with energy, and it's missing in people's lives. I think some people still love music. Other people just, they tune out. So crazy.
Agree. Hey, so you're the scrapper, you're the fighter in the group.
Yeah.
Walk me through Musk and Zuck. Who's gonna win?
Yes. Okay. So let's back up. I think it was probably 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Zuckerberg legit has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ. And went out to a tournament, and I think he got gold. I think he did pretty well in the tournament. But that's all to say, he's pretty physically fit. He does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which, those two things together are really potent. I mean, you can have somebody who's done, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but they're out of shape and they can't roll around on the ground much. And it's so that's like a non-starter for me. But if you are fit and also how to basically bend people without their permission, that's like a huge skill. Anyway, I believe Zuckerberg started it. No. It was Musk that he said he would be up for a cage fight with Zuckerberg. Right. And then Zuckerberg fired back and he's like, okay, name a place and a time. Yeah. And so Musk didn't back down. He's like, all right, I'm in. Let's do this. So it's gone back and forth all week. Elon has kind of been clowning around. He's put up some really actually pretty funny tweets out there. I mean, if you can go to Elon Musk and just kind of back up a few days. That's what he put. Send me location. And And then Elon said, I have this great move that I call the walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and I do nothing because he's overweight. He's kind of out of shape, and he kind of shaped like a walrus. He had some funny stuff this week. And here's the thing. So now I'll put on my martial artist hat. Zuckerberg's going to wipe the fucking floor with Musk. If Musk starts training yesterday and changes his diet, all he does is work out and roll on the ground and punch and kick, he's 4 to 5 years behind Zuckerberg, because Zuckerberg's not going to stop what he's doing. He's probably going to intensify what he's already been doing, and he's going to be cardiovascularly more fit. He's going to have more muscle memory. He's going to have more endurance.
Well, he's also 12 years younger than Musk.
He's 12 years younger, which to me, for me, because I am fit, that means nothing. But for Musk, it's going to mean a lot.
It's going to mean a lot. Yeah.
It's going to mean a lot. So, however, if they can turn this into a win for some sort of charity, because neither one of them need the money. No. So they're gonna turn it into a win for some sort of charity. I cannot imagine that they're not going to have Joe Rogan announce it.
Oh,
because who else would you have to? Because he's friends with both of them. I think it's going to be fun and funny. I don't think it's going to be very fun to watch Musk either get knocked out or tapped out. But either way, you know what? Here's the thing that I love about this. There's a lot of toxic masculinity in this, and I love it. I love every bit of it. These guys,
everybody's okay with this toxic masculinity, but they hate everything else.
Right. But one dude called out another dude, and neither one of them are backing down. That's the kind of shit I can get behind. I love it. Let's do this. And even if Musk gets his ass kicked, if he just shows up, I will have mad respect for the dude. And I will also have more respect for Zuckerberg if he comes out and kicks the shit out of Musk. Like, it's a win-win for both of them. So I don't know. It was a really entertaining thing to watch all week, but now it looks like it's more than just entertainment. They're going to do it, and I love it. I love it.
It'll be interesting. Musk actually has, I think it's 5 inches on him. I think he's 5 inches taller. And I think he's also got, they say he's 180. I think he's more around 220, 230.
220. That's exactly what I was going to say. 240 maybe? Yeah.
I mean he's borderline old man strong because he does have some pipes on him.
Oh, for sure.
But okay. His claim to fame was, well, I got into some really scrappy fights back in South Africa. What the fuck does that mean?
Who knows?
Elon, I don't even know where to go with that.
South Africa's a big place.
I mean, all right.
I will say, coming from a major metropolis like Phoenix, Arizona, which, we had scraps growing up. And especially in the area of town that, I grew up, you grew up, basically miles from each other, not even 2-3 miles. There was fights. It happened. And then coming here to Eugene, Oregon, I'm not saying there weren't fights. I'm saying that people that walk around and they're like, I'm from Eugene, Oregon, that makes me laugh. You have no idea. You might be the baddest ass. If you come from a very small pond and you're the biggest fish in that pond, it doesn't mean shit when you get thrown in the ocean.
No.
And so, if somebody says they're from LA or they're from Philly or they're from Chicago,
yep,
and they've been in some fights, you know what? I'm going to legit give you some space. Yeah. If you say you're from, fucking Eugene, Oregon, you're going to have to prove it to me. I want you to start throwing hands before we have that discussion. So where South Africa rates on that scale, I don't know. But I do know that Zuckerberg's been training hard, and Musk has a big hill to climb if he even has a prayer. I don't know. We'll see. Definitely, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is one of those martial arts that
That's all grappling, right?
it's all grappling, and like I said, it's involuntary yoga is what they like to call it.
Oh.
I fold people the way that they don't want to be folded. Size literally does not matter. I mean, you go look up all the Hoist Gracie fights where he just entered the scene in the Pride fights, and he was fighting guys that were literally 2 and 3 times bigger than him and just destroying them. These guys came out and thought they could kick and punch their way through this little Brazilian dude. And he was like, no, I'm literally going to cut your air supply and I'll see you tomorrow. And I mean, he just tore through people, completely revolutionized, mixed martial arts, UFC, all of it. I mean, most of the guys that are in the UFC ring have trained or are actively training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's legit.
Wasn't Segala Jiu-Jitsu?
No, he was Aikido.
Aikido, okay. All right.
Yeah, he
That's
did
different.
Aikido, which is kind of Aikido and Judo are both Japanese. What the Brazilians did, what they added to the Judo was that they didn't just twist somebody's joint and throw them to the ground and take control. They literally went for, joint breaks,
Separation.
tears. Yeah, separation, and also submissions, chokes. Arm bars where the person had to tap out or you were going to literally break their arm in half. That was never, I mean, the Japanese are much more peaceful than that. I mean, I think if they had to, they would take it to that point, but Judo was never that in practice. And Jiu-Jitsu was never that in practice, but Brazilians said, hey, we were a colony for a long time and we're not going to put up with this shit. So let's fucking break some bones. And so that's what they brought into it. That sort of, I guess, tribal fierceness. And it's legit. It's scary. I mean, I don't want to wrestle with one of those guys. So yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. If it's on pay-per-view, I'm going to say right now here on the show, I'm really tempted to buy it. I really am. I want to see it.
Hey, so tell me about this weird radiation that's pointed at the Earth now.
Okay.
Apparently a black hole has just started beaming us with some kind of shit.
I don't have a place for this, McShane. Basically this black hole was they shoot out radiation out their ass end, right? I mean, they
Right.
take everything in one end and then they shit it out the other end, just like every other living organism. It changed its orientation. So it was blasting out into the cosmos and it changed. And now what's weird is it's not just directly blasting our solar system. It's staying blasting on our solar system. It's not like it's just like a hose, like a sprinkler, like it comes by and it gets you a little wet, but it keeps moving. No, it turned and faced us directly and just kept spraying us like a fucking hose, like somebody with a hose. So I don't have a place to put this. Okay. So tinfoil hat. I think there's somebody out there, some alien culture that wants our attention, and they're like, hey, we could do that. Now they're advanced enough that they can actually read this radiation coming into their planet. So let's aim a black hole at them and see if they wake up. That's the best I got, because I've never heard of anything like this before.
Well, and that was a strange thing, is that it was actually turned off. Well, I'm turned off is a crude term. It wasn't, there was nothing coming out of this for quite some time, and then all of a sudden it's pointing directly at us. So
Very
this
strange.
This is space.com. First observation of black hole jet direction change, because like you were saying, typically it wasn't actually even pointed at us before. Just interesting. Just weird. Just a galaxy weirdness.
What also is weird is that this thing is, I don't remember how many light years away, but a light year is actually a measure of distance, even though it sounds like a time because it's year. But if
656 million light years away.
Okay, so 656 million years ago, someone was like, hey, this planet is going to wake up in about 650 million years. So we should start aiming this thing now and by the time it reaches them, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that the scales that we're talking about here
Right.
are so vast, are so incomprehensible. That's the weird part about this. And also that it's just like stayed aimed on us. It's not going anywhere. That's just, I mean, the percentages, the chances of that being aimed directly at us are so minuscule, because you're not just talking about like a circle on a paper has 360 degrees. So you're talking about 1 in 360. No, we're talking about a globe, a 3D map. So it's 360 times 360, which is, I'm not going to do that math, but it's a lot. And then it just stops and it's pointed just at us. Like that's finding a needle in a stack of needles.
Yeah.
In a stack of needles. I mean, I don't know. It's very weird. I don't have an explanation for it.
I think we should ask Greta. I think we should ask Greta Thunberg.
Okay,
and, see if it has anything to do with climate change.
Here's the list: Greta, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Dr. Peter Hotez. Hotez. I think those three need to come on the show and tell us what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, and also tell us if syphilis can be found on a piece of chewed gum.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's have all of our questions answered.
Let's not fuck around. Fuck around.
Let's go all the way.
What beer are you taking to bed, Fitz?
Okay. My favorite beer. My favorite beer tonight was clearly the jalapeno, the hoppy jalapeno.
Okay.
I am still impressed with this beer. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. Very well balanced. But when you talk about going to bed, on some level, someone somewhere is going to be penetrated, right? I mean, that's the hope. You're going to bed so that something is going inside someone else for pleasure.
Right. Yep.
And I have been literally throat fucked by a banana for the last 45 minutes with this beer. So, and I can't say I hated it. I mean, I'm not switching sides here or anything, but I didn't hate this beer. I didn't love it.
Oh.
I don't love the throat fucking, but also at 15.2%, I might do it again tomorrow night.
I'm just saying.
I'm just throwing it out there. Everybody should try it once.
Like the first time that you go into the dungeon for a little kinky sex and you find out, wow, okay, this dungeon's kind of okay.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what a ball gag does. I can see why you hated this beer. But I'm gonna give it a fair day in court, and I'm gonna say I know what they were going for. I think they missed the mark. It was too much of banana but
yeah,
I get it, guys. And
it was just too busy.
It's just too busy. There's too much to it. I'm sure there's someone out there that loves this beer. It's not me.
Yeah.
But if me and Hoppy Jalapeno we're starting to, get things spicy, get things hot like jalapenos do, and the fucking banana beer came in, fine. Find a hole and stick it in. Let's just do this.
It's fine. Eiffel Tower me, and let's just go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I'll sit down on you.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you got? What's going on over there?
Shamanic Whip, English style pale ale from Wayfinder. That's gonna be my takeaway.
Nice.
I did like the coffee stout. It's like a 1A 1B.
Yeah.
Situation. So you definitely can't miss. But I really enjoyed this pale ale because it wasn't as bitter as so many other pale ales are, and it wasn't a sissy lager. So I really enjoyed the citrus. I enjoyed how floral it was. It was refreshing. It's a great summer beer. totally on board with this one, and I'm gonna have to find some more Wayfinder. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, they're a really solid brewery. Anytime I go to Portland, like that's basically my reason for going to Portland. Like, yes, we might do some other shit while we're there, but I need to stop in at Wayfinder. They're solid. So I'm glad they're getting down there all the way to Phoenix, that you're able to find one of their beers.
Yeah.
But then B, that you actually enjoyed it. You're gonna try another one if you find one. So that's a win-win all the way around.
Cool. All right, that is going to wrap things up for this week. If you guys want to find us, go to Twitter at @whiskey_hell. whiskeyhellpod.com is going to be the website. I am Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love every single one of you, and you know who I'm talking to.
We'll talk to you soon.